Hello dear viewer, I'm leesusss and welcome back to Going Under. Now first of all, this is a future recording for me because, well, in the future I'll be playing this game because this level I found particularly hard, so I had to complete it and then come back and do the voiceover later. And this of course is the second round through the Styxcoin level, but the advanced difficulty, looking for the share of the original founder. So there's a few things about this, but we'll go through. It's not just about the level itself I want to talk about and the boss, but also about some of the features and some of the bugs I've found in this one as well, which are quite amusing. So first of all, obviously this level is much harder. I'm starting off with swamp here, and you may have seen right at the very start I've got a couple of helpers. I've still got one left on the right hand side. With swamp's higher level mental skills, you start off with a couple of every new level. You start off with a couple of helpers, which can be quite good. They're a bit stupid, as high as I want to be in these games, but they can help out a lot. Apart from everything else, they are going to distract from things attacking you instead. In general, though, I found this level to be particularly hard, and a lot of it seems to be about the design. So I found a lot of spoilt runs with this one, unfortunately, and the reason for that is because of the design choices in the level. So there are harder enemies in here. There's bigger versions of the old mobs and things like that. You get worse versions of the bat, things like that. But of course are things like this room here. This one's not too bad, but you see it's a very narrow corridor, and these are quite common in the level. And it's also very common in most of them to find that there's a you'll find these with a very large mob in them. So a particularly large enemy, like the big versions of the miners or the big versions of the chomps. And the problem with those days, when you've got a tiny corridor like that, oh, watch out for that bomb, you can't really easily dodge the enemy. And the bigger enemies are immune to stun by most weapons. So that means you're stuck in a very tiny area where you can't dodge very much. And with an enemy that won't stop just attacking you again and again and again, you can't pause them to pause or put any stun lock on them or anything like that. You're just going to lose a lot of health, and that seems quite common in this level, and I don't know why. It was a strange design choice that I found, and this is where you get situations where, unless you're very lucky, you pick up an item or a perk that will allow you to deal with that. There are sometimes you can have a fairly good run with a reasonable amount of life left, and then suddenly you are losing most of your life. You've got like a couple of hearts left, and that, as far as I'm concerned, because it's so hard to get health back, is a sport run. At that point there, it's almost not worth continuing with these things. You might have to spend. There's one of the larger enemies there, by the way, the big skelly bump that I've got under my control. No, actually, no, he's not under my control anymore. He looked like he was maybe briefly charmed. Anyway, it can be very hard to get health back, and also if you spend a lot of time, if you have taken an awful lot of damage, then you're going to spend all your money on trying to get the health back, as opposed to buying perks and other things to help you. So I found that quite common. I've got part way through the level, and then vast amounts of my health have gone, and there didn't seem to be a way of getting around it, which seems like a bit of I don't know what it is. It seems a regular thing on this level. The Styxcoin one that I didn't find elsewhere. Quite frustrating. Anyway, yeah, corridors like this. The other thing that's featured in this level is, you might have seen, we keep seeing a shadowy figure ahead of us, leaping through the doors in front of us. Looks a bit like Jacqueline, but she's in like a suit, a smart suit ensemble, and she's vanishing ahead of us. This is a feature that seems to happen around the second, when you're going through the second advanced level. So we've done Joblin, then this one, and we're going to have to fight her now. Okay, and she looks a lot like Jocelyn, and has similar attacks. But what happens when you get to the final room of the level? You have to fight the normal mobs that are in there, plus her as well. We'll see some dialogue from her in a minute. She'll attack them to some degree, but also you. So she seems to be stating that we've got her job fighting monsters, or I'm not sure that's true. I mean, we get things called the imposter levels. I'm not sure if that means that we're the imposter or she is. So she will do. Yeah, she's pretty nasty because she'll throw items around, she does a dodge. She has a dodge move like you, and she can do a leap attack from a distance, and it all makes this particular level very hard to do. But you only have to do it once. Once you've beaten her on this, you don't have to do it again. You beat her, and then you can meet her again later. But she caused me all sorts of problems in here, fighting this lot plus her as well. Despite the bad look of this, though, I do actually get through this. Partly by, I think at some point I must have picked up a charm by accident. Oh, I must charm by accident. Someone gets charmed? No? Not sure. Can't remember. It was a while since I played it. No, I'm getting smacked. I am picking up slimes, though. When I get hit, I get slimes produced, which is one of the skills I picked up here. There's her dodge attacks. By the way, the lunge attack seems to be a variant on the power strike that you can do when you charge up your attack. Different weapons will do different attacks in different forms. So, you know, you might go leaping towards somebody to some degree. It varies on the weapon that you're using. She should be cheating by using a Joplin knife, which shouldn't be here. It shouldn't be in this level. And she's down.
Satisfaction guaranteed.
Right, so one of the things I haven't shown off in this game yet is you can go back to your house, to your flat, which was I think a working from home update or something like that. And then you can change costumes and things like that, and also you can meet the imposter in the mirror. And I'll have to do some of these later, but there's like a boss run level you can do in here where you fight through sections of all the dungeons plus the bosses, and then finally, I presume, get to whatever her name is at the end. And me messing around with costumes in there as well, which seems like a good fun end. It's a good idea to put that in there as well as an alternative run through. You know, boss runs are usually often quite fun. So here we are. More features of the... this is a second run from me, but more features of the advanced version of the Styxcoin level. There are a lot more hazards. Now, we saw blockchains and things in the previous game. Now a lot of things are more moving around a lot more and causing a hazard. But that's actually not a bad one, because it's a hazard for the enemies as well. You'd often get them manoeuvred around so they're getting hit by the obstacles. Unfortunately, your little fellas, if you've got any supporting characters, are very stupid and will run into it as well. But there you go. Often a lot of the levels are flooded as well, and the flooding seems to affect you more than it does the enemies, but that really slows you down. So a fast-moving character, which we're going to see later, is or a fast-moving perk bonus really helps out a great deal. Another enemy that's quite nasty, guy with a megaphone, pretty unpleasant one. I find it hard to stop him doing a special move there, but he summons up 4 little skellies to fight, and I've killed him very fast before now and still been hit by them. Another perk there is the frozen perk. There's a freeze and a fire version of this, and the freeze one's pretty good because it can stun an enemy for a while. These rooms are often very crowded. 4 or 5 normal skeleton miners can really do a number on you because of how they position themselves, and smack them with a blockchain. There we go. And you can hit a couple of them, but the one that's out of your range, that's behind them, will come swinging in, if you see what I mean. So it's very hard to keep a group of them stun locked, and the one from behind's going to come in and smack you. The other thing is I'm using, whatever his name is here, the drinks expert here. He's got a very nice perk, which you can pick up, which is that the cans of drinks get a lot more dangerous a lot more good, lot better for you. There's some that give you infinite life for a brief time, others that charm things much more effectively, and you get the drinks machine to buy these in as well. So that could be quite a nice one. I've been using his mentorship quite a lot to get through some of these levels, and generally playing around to see what I can do to improve these. Generally speaking, lots and lots of repetitions on this level, and I haven't tried the advanced Winky Dink yet, but even so, I still think it won't be quite as bad as this one. So many failed runs. Okay, I think now we're heading into the boss. Oh, I appear to have picked up a mini, the mini character, which is quite a good one on here. This is, I think it's called I'm Baby, the perk from that, and you see I've got a tiny character. Now, for a long time I've been using the big one because it gives you more range, the big version of me. Baby's also very nice on this one though, because it gives you additional speed, reduces your reach but gives you additional speed, which is very good on the flooded parts of these levels. And here's the boss. So the boss has a few different standard maneuvers in here. He looks kind of familiar to the other one, I guess. He's the Ferryman version. The other guy before does big swings, does big slashes, or he does big swings. Looks like my supporting help is already down. I'm not doing a good job of dodging here because this is the maneuver set is still fairly similar to what we've seen before. However, part of the way through, what he does is he floods the level. This is nasty because it slows you down, which is why it's good, of course, if I have the faster moving character. Then two things happen. Packages come in, which money falls out of. The packages are sort of a landing site, and they can hit enemies as well as you. They can do a lot of damage, but you can usually dodge away from them. But as they land, money explodes out of them, and the purpose for this is towards the end of the boat. There's like a fundraising type bit at the end of the boat. You can probably see there, and it's filling up with money. So you collect the money, and when you've got enough of it, you can then pull the handle. It wears off after a while. You can pull the handle, and the water drains away again. And that number goes up as the boss fight goes on. It increases as it goes on. So it's not a terrible boss fight. More of my problem was getting here, I found, with these things. There's quite a few weapons dropped around. Cans of drink there can be quite nice. I don't know why I'm using them. You can use that to slow him down. There might be a unicorn sweat drink over there, which is an infinite health. But I hate to tell you, this one's going to finally end in failure, sadly. I've got another run that's successful to show you in it. You say the moves aren't particularly radical, are they? Really? They're fairly standard. As is the dog barking in the background of my videos. And also, it can be very handy. Even the mobs coming out are the same as before. You know, you've got the clapping guy who gives you some milk, which is a nice little bonus part going through. Boss fight, not too bad if you can manoeuvre around. Speed is the main thing, and if you've got a charming effect with a perk, that's even better because you could potentially charm some of these mobs coming in and helping you. Now, as you get towards the second stage of the boss, the other thing that changes. Again, isn't too radical. The attacks are about the same. He moves around a bit more. He also has a spin attack with a laser that you can. I think you might be able to interrupt, but it's generally a dodge one. You have to roll under it. Oh, you're going to demonstrate that for us. Let's have a see. No, he's still doing standard attacks. Oh, there's a laser, and then he'll do like a head spin. A head spin that will then, cast the laser in a circle. It's not that he's not particularly fast in initiating it, so you can certainly dodge around and get some hits on. There we go, towards the end. The head spin and the laser coming out. Failed the last roll to get under that laser. It's very doable though, if anyone used the boss fights. So here's another run. There's me pulling the lever to let the water drain out earlier. Another 1 heart. How am I going to do this, me? I don't remember. It also seems that getting hit by the laser also... I don't know how many times the laser comes out. He spins like that. If you after 2 or 3, he stops doing it. But it seems getting hit by the laser also stops it carrying on going, which is not bad compared to boss fights. I think the slime got the kill. Wow, okay. And there he goes down. And the usual bit of jibber jabber. And we have the share, and then we can go on to the next level. Before we finish though, let's have a bit of wackiness. So this one really needs some explanation. There's a perk which I think is called Imposter, which is where you start every new room with a mask on like this, one of these mascot heads on here, and when you have this, the enemies don't attack you. They think they're one of them, so that means you can run around the room and see what enemies there are, and presumably pick the first one to attack. And usually what happens is as soon as you attack an enemy, I think the head falls off, and then you become a viable target. Okay. There was a bug in this one for some reason. I don't know how it happened, but the hat never came off. And better than that, every time I went to a new room, I got a new hat. So now you can see the spectacle we have here, which is where I have a very tall hat. And it got to the point where it was very hard to manoeuvre around the room because you can see how many rooms I've been through. The stack is starting to collide with the things, and I'm having trouble getting close enough to go through doorways. The question was, of course, so nothing has attacked me from this point on, these how many rooms. What happens when you get to a boss is a very interesting question. Well, let's have a look at the size of the hat stack for a start. Hold on. We'll get a pullback view in a minute. There we go. That's like at least 9 on there. What does the ferryman bottom boss do? Nothing. He doesn't attack. So I've got a couple of helpers. I've started a new level, and I've got Swamp helping me. I've got my little Chomp as well, which is attacking because I'm attacking. But you can see, sadly, -1 to the game for having this bug, +1 to the game for not letting us hit into the boss. So some sort of damage happened at the start of the round with the boss, but now some switch is not triggered, so it's no longer attacking us, and we can't attack it, so we can't do any more damage. And I tried multiple things. The mob trying to attack, I tried to let my Chomp attack him. I used the cloud to try and attack him. I think I tried throwing things. He's not doing anything anymore. I tried the phone app. Nothing's doing it. Unfortunately, it's not been quite exactly been patched out, but the error has been spotted. So this is sadly not going to work. But there you go. I finally, after so many turns, got to this level, beat the boss. Very frustrating getting to the level, sadly. But now we've done it, we can happily move on to the disgusting winky new level. And all of its weird noises and horrible things. And we'll see what's in there. I've seen a couple of the enemies in there, but I don't know what's going to happen. So I hope you join me for that one, when I yet again